Hello, hello, hello. We continue on our journey through the discography of Red Hot Chili Peppers. And this time, it's their second album, which is Freaky Styley. Originally released August 16th, 1985. Disappointed with their debut, they got a new producer. Originally, funny enough, it was going to be Malcolm McLaren, but they fell out over creative differences. I think he wanted to style them more as a 1950s doo-wop group, and that wasn't going to sit well. But instead, they hooked up with George Clinton, known from Parliament, Funkadelic, um, and again, this is where they probably made their. I mean, it was probably right for them, but I don't necessarily think it was the right thing for the album because Clinton allowed them to just do funk. It is basically a funk album. It's not that careful blend that they were aiming for. This goes further towards the funk side of things. Not to say it's bad. It sounds a lot better than the debut. It's a much fuller, rounder sound. The bass is very prominent. You really appreciate Flea's bass playing. It's very more prominent this time. There's a melodic and driving force through the album. We also have the return of Hillel Slovak on guitars after him departing to be with his other band. He returned to the Chili Peppers, and he is the prime guitarist on this, obviously. Opens with Jungle Man, which I think is probably the strongest track on here. I kind of like it, probably because it hints at what the band's potential is. But then after that, you kind of begin to enter a very familiar groove. Hollywood is actually covers of the Hermetas song, but they've changed the lyrics to reflect Hollywood rather than Africa. There's another cover on here too, If You Want Me to Stay, which is a Sly and the Family Stone cover, which is good. It's all right. They're very very good with their covers. It's like it's all right. But yeah, you end up getting this very funky version of the Chili's, and it's augmented by some fine trumpet playing by Benny Cowan. That really kind of adds to the funk. There's lots of and I think that really adds to it. I think those points again, if it, later on, latterly, those stabbing melodic parts would have been probably picked out on the guitar, but here it's the trumpet. That kind of thing. And I thought that worked really well, and I thought it certainly opened up their sound. But it's not an album I enjoy. I don't. Again, they're still kind of looking. They've gone one way and then they've gone in another, and again, it's that finding the balance. There's some esoteric stuff on it, Loving and Touching, and 30 Dirty Birds are unusual departures. Yeah, well, The Turtle as well, which is based on the Dr. Seuss poem, winds up the album, and again, it's suitably, I guess you'd say, esoteric. Has a drug dealer on the track doing backing vocals because they owed him money. These are the details you want. I'm trying to think what else. Freaky Styley again is pretty. A lot of this comes across as very kind of self-indulgent. There's a lack again hookiness. There's a lack of melody. I mean, they're very good players, and if you want to, maybe you could dance to this. Have it on and dance it. But again, it's not. I don't think this was never going to sell. Because it was probably too black for for their fans and too white for a black audience, if you know what I mean. It falls between two stools, not really knowing what it wants to be. And again, I think they're still desperately searching for an identity. It's there, and again, in the lyrics, again, Kiedis' words are very, very much, yeah, this is the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but musically they're still kind of trying to find a way to accommodate, these, again, it's a battle between the words and the lyrics. Again, some of these songs you couldn't do. Catholic Schoolgirls Rule, you wouldn't be able to do that one anymore. Can't do that. You can't talk about getting off with 14-year-old girls. Naughty, Anthony, naughty. Again, sex rap is, again, self-indulgent. Some of the stuff you just think, Black Eyed Blonde, they go a little bit more, kind of near the harder edge, the punky edge of their playing. But again, it's a bit, I wouldn't say it's necessarily unfocused, because the playing's pretty focused. It's just, what do you want to be, guys? Do you want to be Parliament, or do you want to be Funkadelic, or do you want to be Red Hot Chili Peppers? And I think in this instance, like I say, the producer influenced them in the other way. It's really interesting because, like I say, Andy Gill, made some really bad mixing and recording choices, and Clinton goes, "No, let's do this." And basically, kind of, it's almost like he made the album in his image. He put too much of his stamp onto the record. But it's curious. It's a curious record to listen to, because you can hear them. You can hear Red Hot Chili Peppers trying to get out, but it's not as bad as the previous one. It's just not something that I would sit down and, enjoy. I don't find it, I think if I find it, too much, it's, it's, you gotta love the funk, I like to funk. Who doesn't like to funk? But I don't know if I want, nearly 40 minutes of funk. That's just my. Of course, there was an expanded CD edition where you got some demo tracks, Nevermind, Sex Rap, and an expanded version of Freaky Styley, which lasts nearly 9 minutes long. Which, again, I'm not a big fan of that song, so having another 5 minutes of it. And there's a track called Millionaires Against Hunger, which I guess is probably a comment on Live Aid and Aid for Africa, or whatever the American version was. But it will never be as good as We Care a Lot by Faith No More. A band that the Chili Peppers could only hope to be. Cheeky, I have to do more Faith No More, won't I? Anyway, so yeah, not as bad as the debut, but not, they're kind of edging. They're getting there. They're creeping towards becoming their final form. And I wonder if they'll get there. You'll have to tune in for the next thrilling instalment of the Red Hot Chili Peppers discography challenge, whatever you want to call this. So yeah, I've been talking about Freaky Styley, the second album by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, originally out 16th of August 1985. God, that seems like such a long time ago. Produced by the legend that is George Clinton. Give it a listen, see what you think. It's again, you're getting there, and it's really interesting because this band took so long. Was it longest overnight sensation? They really did take a long time to get to their final destination, and that's the interesting part of this journey. They didn't have that great debut, and they didn't have the second difficult album. The first few albums were difficult, but we're getting there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stick around, there might be another video coming, another Red Hot Chili Peppers video, and that'll be fun. You'll like that. Anyway, I'm out of here. Ta-da.